this. What is your plan for fixing the offensive line? Peter comes in. Peter says, week 1, Cam Robinson, left tackle. AVT, left guard. Tittman, center. Kevin Zeitler at right guard. And Fuaga or Fashanu, or Fuaga. Alternatively, he's saying Fashanu at left tackle. AVT, left guard. Connor Williams at center. Now, keep in mind, Connor Williams did tear his ACL late in the season, so he's probably not going to be ready, unfortunately. Yeah. Tittman at right guard, and then Wenyu at right tackle. As far as thoughts go, I love your first one. You're going to see in just a minute that mine is very, very exactly similar to your first outcome. And then your second one, I really like as well. That would require us. I mean, I don't like Connor Williams, unfortunately, because I don't think he's going to be healthy.
Yeah, maybe swap out just a different center there, but I think you nailed both those.
Yeah, if you swap out for like Cushenberry or something like that, Peter, I think we're all on board with either one of these situations. I think that would be spot on. So we're going to pull these up. Let's pull these up one by one. We got some notes on each one. Let's go. Matt, we're going to do yours first. Here's your starting offensive line is what you're thinking. Can you explain a little bit to us about what your thought process was?
Yeah, I wanted to fix the Jets. That was my thought process on it. No, look, couple things. And my notes were, number one, why I would take Olu Fashanu. I like Talisi Fuaga a bunch. And if he is there at pick 10 and Fashanu's not, that would be my selection. But I do think there's a world where Fashanu falls to pick 10 and there's only one offensive lineman taken in the top 9. And if that's the case, I would take him because I think he is the best pass blocking offensive tackle in this class, which to me is significantly more important. And also Fashanu is a left tackle versus Fuanga, who's a right tackle. So that was my reasoning there. For Glasgow, very flexible, could play center, could play guard, can play on either side of the line, has played both left guard and right guard. He's a little bit older, right? But these guards could last into their mid-30s. And to me, I think he's going to be relatively cheap, like a $6 to $8 million AAV on maybe a 2-year deal. I think that would be fantastic. Tyler Biadasz, remember when I just ranted about 40 minutes ago about guys we were yelling and screaming about in the mid-rounds for the Jets to take on the interior offensive line? Exhibit A, Tyler Biadasz from the 2020 draft class. He's kind of another one who I don't think is going to be crazy costly, like Cushenberry. I think because of the year that he had, right? He played like a top 10 center, is probably going to get paid towards the top of the market, like, I don't know, in that $14 million a year range, where Biadasz, I think, is probably closer to that like $8 million. And I think he's probably maybe the 13th to 16th best center in the league, but has significant upside because he's really smart football IQ kind of guy. And then you get the two youngsters on the right side of the line. Yes, AVT moves out to tackle, but I like that plan. I'm comfortable with it. And Joe Tittman played both center and guard last year. He's a little bit bigger, right? He's a little bit on the bigger side, so some project him more as a guard. I think this is the route that I end up. And yeah, I mean, to me, I'm biased, obviously, because I put it together, but I think this goes from the 32nd offensive line in the sport to, I don't know, could it be a top 20 line? I would sign up for that. Give me a top 20 offensive line next year. I think this group can do it.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. I like where you went with that too. Fashanu being the left tackle is like, I'm hoping he falls to, if he's there at 10, I think he's absolutely the pick. Now, I guess if you sign someone in free agency that's like exclusively a left tackle, maybe that changes the thought process of Joe Douglas in some capacity. But I agree, pass blocking wise for Fashanu, and I think his run blocking is underrated as well. But I would sign up for this type of line. I would be pretty pumped on this. Do we want to switch the poll question right now? Right now, it's pretty like dead even. 32% say Bakhtiari or Tyron Smith. 32% say Cam Robinson or Illuminor. 34% say the number 10 overall pick. So we are in like a dead heat. Wow. Basically no AVT.
I think let's go. How about you do yours and see if there's been a drastic change?
All right, so we'll go through mine and then we'll see if there's any sort of shift here. Vamilton Fung comes in with a super chat, says, left tackle Olu Fashanu, left guard AVT, center Jackson Paul Johnson, Powers Johnson, sorry. Right guard Tittman, right tackle Onwenu. So that would require the Jets to sign one tackle and then trade up for the center, because you got us taking Olu at number 10, and then man, I think you're gonna have to get up pretty high. I think you're gonna have to get into the top 20 to get Powers Johnson, if I had to guess. I think he's gonna go pretty early here. But I love it. I would sign up for that for Milton Fung. For my offensive line, I have the Jets getting Cam Robinson, the left tackle from Jacksonville. He's going to be a salary cap cut. He's going to save, I think it's $16 million against their salary cap. They have to sign Josh Allen to either the franchise tag or a monster extension. They got some other things they got to take care of as well. So I think he is ultimately going to shake free. And if I'm the Jets, I'm lining up first and I'm saying, hey, I want you. He's a great pass blocker. He's 29 years old, I believe, is where he's at. So still has plenty of tread left on the tires from a tackle perspective. At left guard, I have Elijah Vera-Tucker staying at left guard. Let me just say something. I made a video today about fixing the offensive line, and I don't remember exactly the name of the person that absolutely tore into me, but it was the top upvoted comment on that video. Over 11, like at least 11 people upvoted this thing, and they said, you cannot have Elijah Vera-Tucker play tackle. I turned off your video as soon as you said that. And I was like, well, you didn't listen to the end, because I don't have Elijah Vera-Tucker at tackle. I have him at left guard. So if you're in the chat, whoever you are,
right,
you can kick rocks, pound sand, take a long walk off a short pier, jerk.
That's right.
All of you, all 11 of you that liked that comment, that clearly didn't watch the rest of my
that's right.
my video. Whatever. You didn't even skim to the end of it to see what it was. I had a graphic up that showed the entire thing. What? I don't care. Whatever. So get me all fired up. Elijah Vera-Tucker goes back home to his left guard spot. That's where he's going to stay. I'm concerned about his Achilles with the tackle situation. I don't want to have a situation where he's going to overextend. I don't buy the whole he's getting injured at tackle and that's why he shouldn't play tackle. I just think with the shorter arms and the Achilles injury, it's probably not where I'd want to have him. I got Tittman as my center. We drafted him to be a center. I'm cool with him playing right guard, and to be honest, I think it might be a little far-fetched for the Jets to get two offensive linemen in free agency, so maybe we don't get a Zeitler like I have at right guard, and you wind up having a different combination, and Tittman winds up playing right guard. But I have Zeitler. I would really love to bring him in. I think he can hold down the fort for a year or two. He always plays at least like 1,000 snaps throughout his career. I think there's only been 2 or 3 seasons in his 10-year career that he did not actually play 1,000 snaps. And then number 10, it's going to be a rookie. Whether it's J.C. Latham, it's going to be Talisa Fuaga. Maybe you wind up getting, Fashanu, and you say, hey, for this year, you're playing right tackle and you're figuring it out. Whatever it is. This would be my offensive line. And then I went with my backups because I wanted to show you guys what my thought process was from like the background side of things. I really like Carter Warren. I would love to see him learn behind a vet. Wes Schweitzer has some guard center flexibility. He's under contract already. He's going to be a backup interior offensive lineman. McGovern comes back on the vet minimum contract. I could see him starting and Tittman being right guard. If I'm being honest, that's where I think it ultimately shakes out. It's not my preferred route, but I think that is something that could happen. I really like Zach Zinter, the guard from Michigan who broke his leg. He may not be ready for the start of the year, but if you can groom this kid over the course of the year, and God forbid something happens to Zeitler, or maybe AVT doesn't recover from his injury, you've got someone that's going to be able to be a starter on your offensive line for a long time there, I think, in Zinter. And then Max Mitchell being the backup tackle for our rookie number 10 overall pick. Now, you can argue if you want to have Bakhtiari come in the summer or something along those lines, but I didn't touch him. I've been talking about Bakhtiari for a while, but I didn't touch Bakhtiari. Didn't touch Tyron Smith. I feel like this is a pretty healthy, stable offensive line here, and I think it's relatively realistic, if I do say so myself.
I agree. I like it.
Thank you.
It's good.
As far as our chat goes, it's even more of a dead heat. 32% right now. Which is funny. When you look at it, Tyron Smith and Bakhtiari, their little line is slightly longer than Cam Robinson and Lumiere, but they're both at 31.
Yeah, so if you shut it down, there it goes. So that it just went back.
Let's see. I just shut it down just to see what
there it goes.
I love how you guys chose the often injured bunch over everything else. It's a safe bet because the Jets have been so good with injuries on the offensive line. Why not take
Which
a
one's
risk?
the often injured bunch? Robinson missed games this year.
No. If
Oh,
they
the chat.
Bakhtiari and
Oh.
Tyron Smith, 31%. I'm just saying, like over Cam Robinson, Illuminor. It's like it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, man. Doesn't make sense.
So
Makes
we're
no
saying
sense.
that. So we're saying the number 10. Well, so for me, I like the Tyron Smith Bakhtiari, one of those two guys, because I like Carter Warren. I want Carter Warren to develop behind one of them, and I think that would allow him to step in. I don't know if Robinson necessarily allows him to step in, but my emergency tackle, if Warren's not ready, would be AVT, and I don't particularly want to have AVT out there. So I like Robinson more from that perspective. Is there some... Which one do we want to go with the chat, or do I want to put down an extra poll question for them to vote on, I guess?
For the number 10 pick?
No, I mean, number 10 won by 1%. But I feel like it's such a dead heat. Do we want to just say 10, like the 10 pick is our left tackle?
No, they won. It won.
They won.
All right.
It won, man.
I like it.
You wonder why we get a rigged reputation here.
See,
That's right, man. Ryan with his feelings.
That's just what it is. I'm like, you know what? I think you're wrong. I think you counted wrong. No, it's all right.
Right.
All right.
Like,
So let's
I
say
see that it's more, but it's not really more. It's a dead heat. Like, no, it's actually more. Yeah, it's a dead heat.
All right. So we're gonna do chat O-line. I'm gonna make this. We're gonna say number 10 pick is our left tackle. Sorry. I gotta delete this stuff and add question marks. And then we'll continue on with this. Greenbean, any thoughts on what I did with my offensive line or Matt's?
I love it. I actually love both of what you guys have put together. I really do. I would love to see AVT go back to left guard. I mean, if we're just looking at the facts, right? We can make up and say this, that, or the other thing about anything we want, but the facts are when AVT was at left guard, he played in 16 games. When he played right guard and tackles and all that shit, we lost him 2 years in a row. So I would love to see him just go back to his original position. The reason he was moved to right guard in the first place because Laken Tomlinson was a left guard and AVT had only played left guard for 1 year. That would be best case scenario for me. Getting Zeitler, I think Zeitler is a slam dunk. That would be amazing. Tippmann, I love as our young kind of up and coming, but already very, very solid center. Cam Robinson at left tackle is fantastic. And if we're at the number 10 pick and a right tackle like Fuaga's sitting there, fucking plug him in there. Don't even have the conversation about moving him to left tackle. You don't need to. I think it answers everything. I think it's wonderful. That said, I love Match too. I love Biadasz in there. The AVT at tackle thing, like you'll see mine in a minute. It's not necessarily what I want. It's what I think the Jets are going to do. That's kind of the route I went. But anyway, I don't hate AVT at tackle. It just makes me nervous. I think he's a very, very good tackle. Either side. We saw him play both sides, and he was rock solid on both sides. He played tackle. He played left tackle in college as well. He's still a very young player. So I don't really have concerns about the ability to play the position. I have concerns about the health as we should. But yeah, I mean, Fashanu at left tackle, I think is fantastic. Glasgow, Biadasz, and Tippmann in the middle. In the same way I feel Tippmann's a great, center. I feel just as confident, if not more so, with Tippmann at guard. So I love it. And again, Vera Tucker is fine at right tackle. I love what you guys have done. I think just looking at either one of those, I am delighted with the upgrade at our offensive line.
So real quick, I have the chat up, and we're over 40 votes in, and we're 83% AVT or Tippmann for left guard. So I'm going to end it right now, and I'm just going to do a poll question. Do you want AVT or Tippmann at left guard? Because it's going to be one of those two either way. But Greenbean, I'm going to throw your offensive lineup right now, and you can walk us through your thought process here.
All right, this is where it gets a little bit shifty. You guys are going to see something. So this is more the route I think the Jets are going to go, okay? I think that they feel they have their left tackle already. We know that they talked about it last year I think the way Salah said it was, we're having legitimate conversations with AVT that he's a tackle in this league. Now he got hurt, and he was, we were looking at him at more right tackle, but he played left tackle the year before. They love him, they trust him, they don't think the injuries are, it's not like some systemic thing. I think, it's not like his knee every year, right? It was an elbow or something like that. The first tricep the first year, and then it was the Achilles last year. And last year was just, hey man, we were just stocking up on Achilles injuries. That's all it was. So I think that they're comfortable with AVT at left T, and then what that enables the Jets to do is because don't forget, we need a lot of stuff this year. We have limited resources monetarily. Yes, we can be creative and create $70 to $90 million in cap space. I don't know if we're going to be able to pull all that off. So we have limited cap, and we have limited draft resources, at least up in the front end with premium. We have no second round pick. We go from 10 to 72. If AVT is your left tackle, what that enables you to do is slide back and recoup another pick. And I'll tell you where that's really valuable in this scenario. So you slide back, just hypothetically, let's say the Steelers want to come up and get McCarthy or something like that. So you look at what that trade would be. It's about 500 points on the Jimmy Johnson, so that gives you their second, and it's a little bit more sweeter for the Jets to get their second and third, but it's right in that neighborhood. So you could pick up a second and third round pick to slide back to somewhere like 20, right where a guy like JPJ is going to be. He's arguably the best offensive lineman in the entire draft. Yes, there's an argument for Alt and other guys, but he's in that discussion for the best overall offensive lineman in the draft. He can play both guard positions and center. He can even play tackle in a pinch if you need him to. It's not where you want him, but he can do it. And so his versatility is amazing. His impact to our offensive line would be amazing. But what that enables you to do is, now that you have a second, you can grab a guy. More than likely, in my opinion, Tyler Guyton's going to be there. You can grab him as your tackle behind the other guys. Now you got Carter Warren and Guyton behind AVT, and you see my right tackle is Illuminor. I'll get to him in a second. But now you have young, potential studs grooming behind those guys. You got JPJ and Tippmann in the center. You go down to Miami, you steal Hunt at the right guard position. He's not going to be that expensive. And then Illuminor gives the Jets, in my opinion, by far the best value and bang for the buck. He's only made, I think we were talking about it before, approximately $9 million in his entire career. He made $3 million last year. He's 29 years old. He has approximately a 70 rating on PFF, overall rating. And he's going to cost you about $7 million. So you get to fill that right tackle spot with a stud. He's going to want the money. He's not going to want to re-sign somewhere for $3-4 million. You come in at $7-8 million. You save a bunch of money. You get the right tackle. AVT's at left tackle. You got two studs. And by the way, we have 2/3. You can grab a Cooper Beebe and have somebody like that behind JPJ or Tippmann or whoever. So this would give the Jets that flexibility that I think that they're going to need to at least consider, because they are limited in what they have available to them to fix everything that we want to fix. Yes, Cam Robinson and Zeitler are great. I'd be ecstatic with that. Whether or not we can pull that off and get the receiver done remains to be seen, in my opinion. I think it's difficult. With this alignment, it gives you the money to go get a guy like Mike Evans and/or Calvin Ridley, and then we're able to take care of all of it in one fell swoop. Again, my first choice, maybe not, but I think it's intelligent. There's a lot of potential here. And again, just like with the two previous offensive lines that you guys put up, I don't think it can be argued that that's a major upgrade to what we've been trotting out there in front of our quarterbacks the last